Life with Gym Dog, Ireland's first pet resort by Des the Vet. Managed by vets, loved by pets. Daycare, vet care, premium pet food and grooming. Visit at petslife.ie.
Jumping the gun there I am. Sorry about that. Anyway, good morning to you all and welcome to the 11. Just want to move that microphone around myself. Okay, so Des, you're in studio joining us as well. And it's Pet's Life, literally. I'm looking at that lovely picture of that dachshund that we just got. It came in from, it came from Alan there. Thanks, Alan. Lovely picture of the dog and a nice, cosy little bag, I have to say.
Yeah, no, you can bring the dog on a plane now in the little carrier bag like that, John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can just, they put them at your feet, is it?
Yeah, if the dog is under 5 kilos or 6 kilos and can stay in a bag, you're allowed to bring them on the plane.
That's class, isn't it?
It is great, yeah. It's
great idea. Yeah. Especially kind of that looks like a dog that's been carried around everywhere. It's a little dachshund stroke cocker spaniel type.
It is. Now, I hope he has a passport as well if he's going travelling.
Yeah, absolutely.
He'll need a passport.
Yeah. I love the bag though. The bag's cool. Nice and cuddly and warm.
Speaking of which, I was saying to you, Bonnie got her passport yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Bonnie got her passport and her rabies injection, and she was feeling a little bit sorry for herself last night. The rabies vaccination it's a little bit like the COVID vaccine. They're a bit sick after it for kind of half a day.
Yeah, that's just, they're out of sorts, but that's deliberate.
That's it, yeah. So she has her blue EU passport with her rabies vac in it and her microchip in it and her little picture, and she's ready to go.
Okay, so you're a vet, so you know what you're doing, but not many people do know what they're doing, so that's where we're going to have a chat about this as well. First of all, you're bringing Bonnie off and your Holly, your three of you heading away together, and when are you doing? You're doing that in September sometime?
Third week in September, hopefully.
Very good.
That's
so you're driving across Europe?
Driving across.
Yeah.
Driving to the Alps, do a bit of hiking and biking when we get there.
Okay.
Bringing the dog with us.
Bring the bikes.
Mm-hmm. And the bikes. Yeah. And every week we're asked about travelling with dogs. So going through the process now of looking into it and researching it, or it's a bit of fun, I must say, to organise it. So if we start in Kildare and we leave from Kildare with Bonnie and all the stuff in the car, we head to Dublin Port, and it's a 4-hour ferry from Dublin Port to Holyhead. Say that's the first starting point.
Yeah.
And Stena Line, again, having looked into this, you can travel across the Irish Sea with a dog free of charge. In the car with you. You cannot bring the dog on board as a foot passenger, okay? But you can bring the dog in the car. You're allowed to visit the dog on board at least twice during the journey.
Okay, but that's only a 4-hour short journey.
That's only, exactly. Yeah. That's only 4 hours, which is fine.
Is that
it's a lovely crossing.
Yes,
that's a lovely short crossing. 4 hours. We can let her out to stretch her legs. She can have a little meal, go to the toilet, can do all that on the boat, and it's only 4 hours.
Right, okay.
Now, then you have a drive across England. Say you want to go to the continent, as many people commonly do, right? 6-7 hour drive from Holyhead to Folkestone, which is the...
Yeah, over the Dover side.
Exactly,
yeah. The
Dover side. So the Channel Tunnel, now called Le Shuttle, leaves from there, right? Again, if you look at the Le Shuttle, the website for the Channel Tunnel, it's incredibly dog friendly. Big amount of information on it for dog owners. When you arrive there, they have an area for exercising dogs and letting the dog have a drink, have its dinner. They have a proper doggy reception area in the departure area before you get on the Channel Tunnel. Yeah, and the dog can stay in the car with you the whole way under the tunnel on the shuttle.
Okay, let's go step by step. So let's start at the very beginning.
Yeah,
and we're going to literally do this virtually.
Yeah.
So first things first. People are out there thinking of bringing their dogs to England, the UK, possibly to France, doing what you're doing, maybe going over to Italy or down to Spain or over to Germany or wherever you're going. It could be anywhere. Paperwork, first of all. So let's start from the very beginning and work our way through.
Well, the most reliable part of identifying a dog is the microchip, and that's now the law in this country anyway.
Yeah.
So most dogs coming into us have a microchip, and that microchip is registered with Fido or any mark, and it can be found online on PetNet, and the microchip will state that the dog is owned by the family in question.
Okay.
So that's her most reliable primary form of ID, and that microchip number goes into a fresh passport.
Right.
Gets written in by the vet into the passport document. Verified, checked, and written into the passport. Details of the owner's signature as well goes into the passport. Details of the pet, a picture of the pet, the identifying features of the pet, the location of the microchip, where is it when the vet scans it, how easy is it to find. So that's the first few pages of the passport. That's securing the identity of the animal in question and where the animal is from.
Okay.
Very important to state where the animal is from, country of origin.
Okay, now, also, just to clarify, it's the vets of the home country are the ones who issue the passport?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Vets, any veterinary practice is licensed to issue a passport. The passports are sent to the vets from the Department of Agriculture.
Yeah. By the way, just curious, did you do your own or did you have to get somebody to do it for you?
No, it's again, that's another part of the law. No vet can certify their own animal for anything.
Yeah.
Whether it's a dog or a cat or a horse or a cow,
right,
whatever it is. No vet can certify their own animal.
That makes sense, okay.
Yeah.
No, okay.
So the next thing then is you have to have a rabies vaccination. Ireland is rabies free.
Yeah.
But to leave Ireland, an animal has to have a rabies vaccination. And that must be given a month before 30 days before departure.
Yes, and you were just saying with Bonnie's case, look, not a reaction, but it's normal if you give an animal a vaccine that's to prevent rabies. That there might be just a little bit of a side, a little bit like COVID. You're feeling down for a half hour.
Conks out and sleeps for the evening.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
very
but
good.
puppies do as well. You generally speaking, after their first puppy vac, they'll do the same.
Okay, so no difference.
No difference.
Okay.
So then that's done. The serial number, barcode, manufacturer, etc. There's a sticker that says all that for the rabies vaccination and the date, and that's stamped. That goes into the passport as well.
Okay, right, fair enough. Yeah. So that brings us then, does that mean that now you're good to go?
You're not quite good to go.
Okay.
You're almost good to go. You mind your passport, and the day before you go, you have to visit the vet again. And the very last page of the passport has a little line on it. It's called a health check, and it says, I certify that this animal is healthy to travel, is in a fit condition for transportation.
Okay.
And that's signed and stamped by the vet.
Right, so that makes it really interesting, because if you're thinking of going away, you must return to the vet. Is there another fee to go back there, by the way, just to get the old tick in the box?
There would be. Yeah, there's a tapeworm tablet required for the UK and the continent as well.
Okay.
So the vet will check that, stamp that, sign that, give a tapeworm vaccination, probably charge you 50 quid for all that.
Okay, right, fair enough. And then you're good to go.
Then you're good to go. You can leave the next day.
Okay. What about tips when you're bringing your dog on a boat or a plane or whatever? What tips can you give to relevant owners to keep the dog as calm and as relaxed as possible?
Yeah, you have to have them used to travel.
Okay.
You want to be going around your neighbourhood and to and from the woods, and it has to be part of the animal's way of life to be in the car and go places with the owner regularly, or else the trauma of being put in the back of a car for 4 hours and 6 hours and put on a boat, it'll all be too much. So you have to incorporate regular travel and regular trips into your way of life for the dog to be settled.
That makes sense too.
And that takes time. There's a build-up of that. Now then, concentrating on when you're going.
Yes.
You want to have a nice big crate, a nice big area in the back towards the boot of the car, where there's a good space for the dog to lie down and stretch and have a roll, lie on its back, lie on its side. There must be ample space.
Is that what you're going to do in your case? Because you're going to go away, the three of you, and you got the three of you, including Bonnie. You're going to put your personal items in the back seat type of job and give the boot of the car to Bonnie.
Yeah,
is that
correct.
basically it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She'll need that space of almost 2 metres in length and 1 metre in width. A Labrador would need.
Okay, right, fair enough.
For that space. Now you can get a crate of about that size for them to sleep in and be in, and they must be used to it.
Okay, is that what you're going to do? Is
She's
it a
used
crate
to
or
the
just
boot.
she's just used
She's
to the
used
boot?
to the boot and it's secured.
Yeah.
She's good there.
Brilliant. Okay, so next up.
Bring her own food.
Yeah.
Bring your own bowls.
Right. So she's used to the smell of her own environment.
All that.
Yeah.
And you can get various travel sicknesses and shipping fevers. There's infections that are stress-induced.
Yeah.
So you must minimise the stress as much as possible by preparing for this and ensuring that there's as little change as possible.
Yeah, that makes sense as well. Absolutely does make sense. Right, so we're now in the situation where the day of arrival, right? So the day of transport, you check into the ferries or whatever, you And for just curiosity, Des, when you're driving Bonnie, does Bonnie actually stay in the boot if you're driving for 2.5 hours, or will she kind of want to jump out to you?
No,
guys?
if unless she's well enough secured in the back that she can't jump out.
Do you give her free rein, like?
No, the customs officials. It's actually, again, if you have a look at the Irish Ferries and the Stena websites, they stipulate that there must be a crate of a particular size.
Right.
So substitute crate for a secure boot area.
Okay.
She can't have the full run of the car.
Okay, right, fair enough. Okay, and she's well used to that anyway. You're bringing her out for walks and everything else.
That's it.
Okay, where are we going next? What?
Onto the boat. She's not allowed on deck. She has to stay in the carport. But during the crossing, you are allowed visit and let her out to go to the toilet and have a drink. And you can check on the dog a couple of times during the transit across the sea.
So there's one thing, that obvious question. Go for a toilet on a boat.
You have to have your bags with you.
There you go.
Same as going anywhere nowadays, yeah. Even took me a while to get used to this, as a farmer's son, this idea of, hey, picking up after the animal, but you have to.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. That makes sense as well. Okay, right, onward bound. So we're
then
going.
You arrive and you're travelling and you're driving.
Okay.
And
what about distance? So, so you're in a situation where you're going across the continent, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you're just doing normal pit stops. Let's see how Bonnie's doing. Let her out for a while, because obviously what you're doing is going to be a pretty long drive.
Planet.
You're going across France.
You're going to have to look for suitable motorway stopping points.
Yeah.
Where you can give the dog a break, get yourself something to eat, put diesel in the car.
Yeah.
So the normal stuff.
Yeah.
But incorporate the dog into your plans. Similarly, if you're going far enough, we'll say that you might have to stop off in a hotel, arriving in Calais, and you're not at your destination. Say you were driving to Italy or Germany or Holland. You might have to book into a hotel overnight.
Yeah.
There are pet-friendly hotels.
Brilliant.
But it takes a bit of planning.
Okay, so you might do that, or you probably have that in plan.
Yes.
Going from more than one country to another, so you're in the car travelling through France, maybe across through Switzerland, Belgium, onto your other destination. So the question is, do you have difficulty with your dog going through the other pit stops?
No, you don't, as long as your EU passport
they just have a look and
is
say,
in order. The common travel area is fantastic. You can go from east to west throughout the Eurozone.
Yeah.
On the same paperwork.
Okay. Have you done this before to this degree?
I've never done it properly with an animal myself before.
So this is just...
Years and years ago as a student I travelled with horses.
Yeah.
And horses have always had a passporting system, but the pet passporting system, of course, is newer.
Okay, so if anybody has ever done this, I'd love to hear your thoughts, your comments, maybe the pitfalls, the positive, the negative, and if there is anything or top tips you could give us just to pass on to the listeners. We tried this, and if I was doing it a second time, I might try something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're bringing your dog, and the dogs are not going to be 100% do things according to plan anyway. No,
there might be little variations, or the unexpected can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So any information from listeners to further the conversation will be very welcome.
Okay, and just curious, so from your own perspective as well, Des, I know when you're travelling with Bonnie, and are you kind of doing lodges, or are you doing B&Bs, or what way are you doing it, and how did you suss out whether it's going to be pet-friendly locations?
A lodge, a stopover point in a small hotel.
That's pet-friendly?
Yes, that's pet-friendly, but arriving into a rented accommodation.
Okay, right, fair enough. And so you're setting off at a pit stop point, and you have a main area where you can travel around.
Yeah, that's it. And if you're driving through England, you're going to cross the Channel Tunnel, the departure terminal of the Channel Tunnel is a very useful stopping point and resting point for the dog, because they have pet-friendly areas at the shuttle terminal on the English side.
Yeah. Okay, right. We'll leave that there. More comments. Anything else you want to add?
No, I'll tell you more next week.
Yeah.
We'll go into it further.
Okay, cool enough. Okay, so if anybody's got any questions on that, you can text or WhatsApp us. I know it would be probably a minority of people will be travelling in that context. Most people fly away to Spain or something. But, we might even cover the point of where you're not bringing your pet as well, because it's that time of the year too. We talked about deers last week and their exploding population as well. And there was a deer dead on the N7 in Rathcoole on Sunday. Just goes to show you how far from the Wicklow Mountains they're spreading outwards. To be honest with you, not so long ago, I think it was about 6 months ago back, I was driving home from the radio station late at night, heading home up the M7 towards Junction 4. 14, and out of nowhere, lashing across the road was a deer. I don't know where it came from.
I've seen them around Junction 14.
Yeah.
Amazingly, monster heaven. I don't know why.
I don't know why either. I don't know where they're coming from, but I know from a few years ago back, I remember witnessing where somebody had actually hit one in the middle of 2 o'clock in the morning. Not much traffic on the road, and out of nowhere the deer just came flying. It hit the car in front of me, and it was a carnage, to say the least. But we know it's kind of one of those things when it comes to deer. It is exploding the population everywhere, to be honest with you, isn't it?
I don't quite know what the answer solution is, but those who are hunting them and then bringing them to the production facilities, to the meat factories for export as venison, keeping a good eye on the numbers, and they do say that they're always in great condition. They're fantastically healthy, and one of the reasons why they're so healthy and they're so numerous is because they're feasting on farmland and on silage and on farmers' grains and feeds that are being put down for cattle and sheep.
Okay. Right, a couple of general questions we'll get to right now. First of all, Jeannie was on. Jeannie says, my cat is an indoor and outdoor cat. During the winter months, he's more prominently indoors, but during the summer months, he loves being outdoors, hunting around, having a bit of fun. Sometimes he actually sleeps on the bed, sometimes he doesn't. It really doesn't matter. It's whatever the cat wants to do. Nothing strange about that particular comment. I've noticed that in the last 2 consecutive 24 hours, she has come in, laid on the bed and peed a little bit. Tiny little bit, not a hell of a lot, and also on the bed that she normally sleeps in. Any ideas what could be causing this? Yeah,
any change in toileting habits and inappropriate or change in urination habits in a cat is often an indicator of a urinary tract infection.
Right.
And urinary tract infections and kidney problems, which are linked together. One leads to the other. Those problems are incredibly common in cats, especially older cats. So if that becomes more than a once-off, then a visit to the vets and a check-up and maybe a blood test and examination of a urine sample would be very important.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, thank you very much as well. I found a little, what looked like a bug bite under the hind front of my dog in the crease area. It looks a nasty little thing. I was wondering, would you think it is a bug bite or could it be possibly a rash considering the location?
Anyway, if it's just one hive...
Melanie, thank you.
Melanie, if it's just a hive like that, once off, yes, absolutely. It could be a sting of a wasp or a bee.
Okay,
and if
this time of year.
Now, if the dog scratches and itches at that, it'll spread and it'll turn into a rash, and then you can have a dermatitis, which can require treatment. But a one-off hive like that, leave it alone. Hopefully, the dog doesn't itch and scratch at it, and hopefully it'll go away. It won't cause any issues.
Okay. Jordan was on, and Jordan's out in Kilcock. He said, my dog is a golden cocker spaniel, loves running around and chasing the vermin, and literally got and killed a rat quite recently. Just curious, is this too dangerous? He's been chewing on the rat and he wouldn't let go. So I presume they're worried about maybe because rats carry disease.
Yeah, rats carry disease, so you shouldn't encourage it to that extent. Now look, if your cat, you're not really going to be able to stop your dog from fulfilling his natural instinct and doing what he instinctively wants to do. So you do have to make sure that your vaccinations are up to date. So rats and mice are carriers of a particularly nasty infection called leptospirosis. There's a human version of it. It's another zoonosis. It can affect multiple species. You can catch it from contact with contaminated urine of either a dog or a rat or a mouse or whatever. Okay. And it can be a killer disease. So your dog must have its annual vaccinations. The 7-in-1 it's called, up to date, which will contain inoculation against the 2 forms of leptospirosis that are prevalent in this country. So a nasty bacteria, I wouldn't let if you, as regards the dog killing the rat, you can't stop him. No. But I would definitely discourage him from playing with the rat too much, and certainly put gloves on or get a shovel or whatever you need and dispose of the critter yourself ASAP.
Yeah, absolutely. Put it into a bag, tie it off, throw it in the bottom bin, or get rid of it, whatever you have to do with it. Okay, here's 2 questions for you. This is, you mentioned travelling with your dog on a ferry. The problem is going to somewhere like France or Spain, they're 20 hours to 22 hours. The dogs can't be accessed because the hold is closed permanently. What happens in this situation? Yeah,
you have to book a kennel.
Okay.
There are they have a dog zone on those long ferries. I've looked into that as well. The Cherbourg ferry takes 18 hours. It can be a terrible crossing as well.
Yeah.
Rough seas and all the rest of it.
But if the dogs just left, what do you do?
Through
when they're in the kennel, you just leave them water and food and away to go?
You would be able to access them, at intervals throughout the journey, but the animal wouldn't be able to leave that kennel. I wouldn't encourage it. I'd discourage anyone from bringing in a dog or a cat
on long distance.
That type of a journey. No, this is why I would focus on the shorter crossings.
Yeah. Land bridge.
If you have to go to we'd say France or Spain, Portugal, whatever it is, I would from Ireland, I'd prefer to see you take shorter crossings and a longer drive yourself on the other side.
It's another question in from Trish in Selbridge. Where does your dog stay on the boat? Does it stay in your cabin, etc.? No, it doesn't. The small dogs are allowed, are they?
Small dogs, no. You can bring a dog on as a passenger, but you have to then put the dog into kennels and they're not allowed on deck. There are kennels on the boat.
It's only on a plane of recent times that if a dog is under 5k that you
can bring it into the cabin, yeah. Now, if you bring the dog on in the car, the dog should stay in the car.
Okay. Here is another question. This is from Heidi. How you doing, Heidi? She says she's listening in Dublin at the moment and loving the slot. She says, my dog during a barbecue robbed a burger that was full of minced onion. It happened last night. She doesn't seem to be quite well in the last 10 or 12 hours. I was wondering, could this be the effect of the onion in the burger?
Yes, onion contains substances, a chemical that's toxic to dogs.
Even cooked onion?
Yes, even cooked onion. Now, all of these things are dose dependent.
Yeah.
In other words, the small amount of onion that's in one burger isn't going to be too serious. But undoubtedly, your dog has a bit of nausea and is getting a little bit of gastroenteritis.
Right, okay.
So what you should do is, today, definitely fast your dog. If your dog isn't better within the next probably 12 hours, I'd probably see a vet.
Yeah,
if it persists.
Yeah. But I mean, if you put it into context, you're talking about minute pieces of onion within a burger.
Absolutely, very small amounts.
Yeah.
Now, onion is toxic in larger quantities, but I don't know a dog that's going to eat large quantities of onion.
Yeah. Okay. Right. I think of one more that just came in there. No, we covered it already. It's to do the bug bite. Okay. Right, we're done and dusted for today, Des. Well done. Thanks for coming in to us, as always. And when the time comes closer to your travels, we'll do a recap on that as well. And if you've got some questions, or if you've got some thoughts, or if you've got some comments about travelling with your animal, please let us know, and we might cover off on a bit of that as well. Oh, one popped in just before we go. We might as well take it. Oh, yeah, okay, here we go. We'll give you this one. I used to live in Ireland for 13 years and moved to Spain 7 years ago. Also, I have a Shih Tzu, 11 kg weight. He was not allowed to travel into the cabin, so had to go to the cargo. And then I realised that there is a list of short-nosed dogs who are not allowed in cargo either. Shih Tzus, pugs, boxers, etc. And also, if the temperature is over 28 degrees, they're also not allowed. Also, short-nosed breeds need to have extra-large cages. So only option was to contact Pet Transfer Company, who did a brilliant job, by the way, she says here. Also, Spanish ferries and French ferries have very pet-friendly cabins now who look after the dogs in transit. Your dog can be with you in the cabin in some situations.
Yes, so good information.
Great information.
The take-home message there is that the ferry travel is very pet friendly, very easy, and is a much better option than the air travel. And with the air travel, because of the limitations and issues with it, you're better off contacting one of the pet travel companies that are based at the airport well in advance of your proposed journey, and let them organise the itinerary for the dog.
Okay, and final one, thanks to Carissa. We used the night ferry between Harwich and Hook of Holland. When we took the car, we decided to take the car with the dog to Germany. A pill from the vet made her sleep through the journey. Never had an issue on outward or return, says Carissa.
Yeah, good.
Good idea. Nice tranquilizer. Would that something would you do just in case as a backup plan?
I'd love to have the dog relaxed and calm in a natural way without needing to sedate her.
Right.
Because of the risk of the sedative affecting her respiration, her breathing. And bear in mind, the temperature can be very variable, and it can be very difficult to predict what the atmosphere in terms of the airflow and the temperature inside in the cargo deck of a ship is going to be. And I wouldn't like to have an older dog sedated in that situation where you wouldn't be too sure what the oxygen content and the humidity and the temperature is going to be. So there are risks with sedation, and if at all possible, you'd be better off having the animal habituated to the concept of travel and nice and calm.
Good stuff. Great way to finish. Thanks, Des.
It's a pet's life with Gym Dog, Ireland's first pet resort by Des the Vet. Managed by vets, loved by pets. Daycare, vet care, premium pet food and grooming. Visit a petslife.ie.